You might have a fear that you're going to get into a client session. You're not going to know what to say. You're going to freeze. Your palms are sweaty. And then the mind just goes blank. And so in today's episode, I'm going to help you figure out what to say when you don't know what to say. Hey, I'm Amanda, and welcome to the Best Damn Coach podcast, where I will teach you how to coach yourself, how to coach your clients, and how to run your coaching business. The number one goal of this show, though, is to help you be the best damn coach you can be so your clients go out and tell the world about you. So let's do the damn thing. Before we dive into this week's episode, I want to invite you to come join some of the best damn coaches out there. That is what we are creating inside the BDC. And this month, we are offering some freaking awesome bonuses when you join us, including a one-to-one strategy session with me where we focus on anything in your business that is keeping you stuck. 2, we are calling them lifeline calls, but we are giving you bonus lifeline calls. It's kind of like phone a friend when you're in an emergency, when you're just like sitting in your stuff, or maybe you're in a mid-launch, or you just have a really tough client issue happening. We are offering lifeline calls to you when you join. So you can reach out to me, and within 48 hours, I will be there with you to support you. And man, I wish, honestly, that this would have been an offering to me at points in my business, because I have desperately needed this. In addition to that, we're also giving you access to the 4 steps to creating a successful financial plan inside your business. We want you, the moment you make your first dollar, to know what you should be doing with it, what taxes look like, what kind of accounts you should be putting it in, how much money should be saved for, investing in your business versus what you pay. Those like really simple questions that we get so far in business that we forget to answer for ourselves. So we have amazing bonuses right now. We want you to become a part of a community of talented coaches that care about the people they serve, who want to be better coaches, who want to create a constant stream of clients that are literally knocking at their door. So to learn more, head on over to amanda-walker.com/bestdamncoach, and you can see how the community is created, how we meet, everything that's included in addition to these exclusive bonuses that are available this month only. Welcome, you guys, back to the Best Damn Coach. Let me just say this. I'm so glad you're here with me. Today, we're going to talk about what to do when you don't know what to say, when you don't know what to say to your client. And I have been there in this place. If you're a coach listening, no doubt you have also been there in this place. And today, together, we are going to talk about what to do when this happens, because inevitably on your journey, this will happen. Spoiler alert. This is going to happen at some point in coaching, and for a variety of reasons that have nothing to do with your talent or skill or experience. This inevitably is going to happen. And so stay tuned, because I'm going to share some stories. I'm going to share why this will happen or could happen frequently at the beginning, not necessarily will. I'll take that back. And I'm going to give you some tangible things to do in the moment should this ever come up along your journey. So I want to take some steps back, though. And I want to talk about my journey. If you're new to the show or you've been around for a while, this might be redundant, but if you didn't know this, right, I was a teacher for 10 years, high school teacher. I have been coaching for 25 years, by the way, since I was 15. My first ever job was coaching Pee Wee basketball. And so I have been in front of people speaking, teaching for 25 years. And when I first started my business, right, I left teaching to stay at home with the kids and kind of stumbled into entrepreneurship. I have no background in it, in sales, anything related to marketing, anything related to running a business. My first batch of clients, I charge $50 a month for email coaching only. And the reason I did that, was because it fit into the nooks and crannies of my life. The kids were, somewhat small, and this allowed me complete autonomy to not have to be in front of a Zoom or in front of anything. And that's eventually I moved into online only. I've always only been an online coach until honestly the last couple of years when I've taken on corporate clients and I'm going into offices more and doing lots more speaking. But one of the other reasons that I also only did email coaching, and I am totally happy sharing it now and admitting to it, is I was scared as heck. I was scared to coach someone live because what if on the spot I couldn't answer a question? What if I didn't know what to say? What if I didn't know what to do? And so that gave me a way out. It was total avoidance and not leaning into really the gifts that I was given. And so here we are. My business looks entirely different. I can't wait to get in and coach. I go and teach in other organizations and other coaching communities with no upfront information. And I'm like, give me it all. Give me anything to coach on. And that lights my fire up. And I want to help you create that level of confidence and self-belief as well. This is a common struggle, especially for new coaches or those thinking about serving people in some type of coaching role. So I don't want to just say quote unquote, you could be leading a team. You could be a parent. You could be even speaking to your spouse. Anybody in a leadership position who is responsible for transformation of changing lives or even just addressing uncomfortable conversations, then I think this conversation today is for you regardless. But inevitably, there will be a moment where you may not know what to say. And there are things happening in your brain. There are thoughts happening in your brain at that moment. The important part to really isolate here is what's happening in your brain at that moment. Here is often what happens in our brains. Oh my gosh, what if I say the wrong thing? What if they say something and I don't know how to respond? And if those are the thoughts that are frequently rolling through your brain, then those thoughts are leading to feelings, most often of doubt and of fear. And remember, if you've been on the podcast, if you've been a listener for long enough, you know how much I keep drilling down the importance of self-awareness around your thinking. Thinking creates feelings, and feelings are what force us to take action or inaction. So if you keep doing something you don't want to do, it's not about stopping the thing. It's getting back more clarity on what's the feeling that precedes it. And then again, what's the thought that even precedes that? So your thinking is driving your feelings of doubt or fear. And when we take action from a place of doubt or fear, what's actually happening is not action, but inaction. Nothing is happening. We don't look for clients. If we keep thinking we're going to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, or that our coaching isn't right, or it's not good enough. And so therefore we don't seek out clients. And we don't get any clients because we're not seeking them out. And then guess what? We don't get to serve and we don't get to use our passion and our gifts to change the world. And therefore we don't make a living doing what we love. And so today our focus is all about what to do if you actually don't know what to say. By the way, I don't know what to say is a thought error. That is not true. You might in the moment not know what to say. You might need some time. You might need some space. You might need some time to process. And that is a really important part. That's a thought error. And today we want to move it to the side to help you gain the confidence and clarity to show up as you are meant to show up with your clients. I want to reiterate what I just said is that every coach has been in this place where their mind is kind of working like so far ahead of the client. You're trying to think about the next thing that you're going to lead the client with, so much so that you're often missing what they're saying. It's kind of like in your marriage, like if you and your spouse have ever been like going back and forth, I'm so guilty of this with Justin. He'll be saying something and all I hear is wah, 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 because I'm already like, oh, I know what I'm going to say. I know what I'm going to say right back. I know you get me too. As you're listening, you're like, yep, I get it. And so if you are coaching like that, guess what? You are going to hear wah, wah, wah from your clients. And so you didn't even hear what they had to say. So that means, again, you won't know what to say. And so the best responses are not coming from us when we are thinking about what we're going to say. We're making it about us at that point. The best responses come when we become active listeners of what our clients is saying. So if your mind does go blank, first let's check in on like what happened. And if this is recurring, then we really want to, take some time before you get on calls to really ground yourself in your abilities, like total confidence, total energy, like total self-belief, and do whatever it takes. For me, I feel like I've been doing this long enough that I'm like ready. But if I'm going to go like present or speak or something, I definitely am taking some deep breaths and I'm bringing up imagery. Usually it's like my old self imagery. I go back to my basketball playing days when I was like starting lineup, getting ready. Like I channel that energy. So channel whatever energy brings you into like the highest possible energetic place for your clients. And your mind sometimes is going to want to bring in thoughts that aren't true. That is not true. You are ready to coach your client. You are ready for them. You only need to be a few steps ahead. But a lot of time what happens is we come in, we're trying to think, we have this perfect framework. We're like, okay, the client did this. We talked about this last time. I'm going to do this next time. And then next time I'm going to do this. Friends, coaching doesn't work that way. The best, most masterful coaches, and I know that's what you want to be, come in with neutrality and curiosity. In the back of their minds, they might have some framework or, okay, these are the next steps. But the really amazing coaching happens when you meet your clients exactly where they're at and where they need you today. So I've been there though, totally survived. By the way, I'm still standing. And more importantly is those moments of blankness made me a better coach because I learned from them. So I want to play this out worst case scenario first. Like what if you really froze? You really didn't know, you were on a call and your client was talking and you legit had no idea what to do. Worst case scenario is you would freeze and you would not know what to do. And then you would have to figure out something. And again, in that moment, it's really identifying the thought that caused you to freeze. Was it, I have to know it all. I have to have it all figured out. I have to be perfect. What if I say this wrong? What if it's the wrong way? These thoughts are those internal thought errors that if they're on repeat, we want to clear them out. You've heard me talking about the toothpick, a visual, and I'm going to bring it up again, right? Our thoughts are like toothpicks. They're being thrown at us, 50, 70,000 of them all day long. The ones that we're catching, right, are about 500 or 1,000, enough to fit in a toothpick box. But if we go just on sheer random sampling, the ones we think most often are going to be the ones we catch. So we want to be really mindful of what we're catching. But it's just about, if I think the same thought, I have to be perfect 1,000 times, I'm definitely going to catch that in my toothpick box. So masterful coaching comes when we are aware of those thoughts, we push them out the way and we make the session about the client and not about ourselves. When you aren't actually making the coaching about the client, this is really, you're living in your head. You're not living in your heart and you're not living in your skill set as a practitioner. You're really not even coaching. You're actually just thinking. And if you're focused on your own thinking, you're not curious about your client's thinking. And that's where you're going to miss out. Coaching is about being curious at the end. And it's about asking questions. Really great coaches ask amazing questions. Little shout out, by the way. This is why we created our 10 questions every coach should know. This is the guide that I think you should print and have with you. So if you feel like you're kind of stuck, or you're asking the same things, or you're not getting where you want, then this guide can totally serve you. And you can download that, by the way, at amanda-walker.com/questions. But it might take a lot of questions to get to the place that you want to go with the client. In fact, sometimes, let's say on a 30-minute coaching session, I may not really get to the juicy golden nuggets until minute 20, and that's okay. There is no rush. We want to actually serve the client, and there isn't a perfect way. This is about establishing your voice, and the more reps you get, the more experience you get, and the more self-belief you have, the more you're going to create this. But if you really didn't know what to do, or say rather on a call, then let's talk about your options. First thing I want to say, number one, is don't make stuff up. Don't make stuff up just to fill in the gaps. You're making that about you and your ego. You don't want to disserve the client by doing that. So don't make stuff up. Instead, just be transparent. One thing you could say in this situation is, oh my gosh, that is such a great question. This is such a great place to hang on. Let's go look for that answer together. Let's go hunt that down together. And you could actually use that session to go into some greater self-discovery. Okay, tip number 3 is after there's kind of that moment where you're uncertain of yourself, what you could just do is acknowledge them and say, hey, thank you for sharing all of that. I'd love to ask a few more questions just to gain some deeper clarity. And this will give you the time to just keep digging and keep asking questions to give yourself more space and opportunity to pull stuff out from them, and to also give you the space to figure out how you can come in. And you can even say, would that be all right? That gives them some buy-in to say, yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep coaching. And tip number 4, when you don't know what to say, is just be transparent. I am not sure that I have the perfect answer for you right now. Let me do some research and I will circle back to you. And what I like about this is you can then go above and beyond and actually over deliver here. For me, what happened at this point was I actually gave them a bonus call. I was like, oh yeah, let me circle back. I'm not confident in my response for you right now. And so I over delivered by giving an additional coaching session, which gave them more coaching. And it also showed them that I was showing up for them big time by wanting to serve them and wanting to find the real root cause. And so those are 4 opportunities, along with all the other pre-stuff that I mentioned, that can really serve you if you're feeling I don't know what happens. Because I think this is a fear for many coaches, is that you're going to be in that position that you're not going to know exactly what to say next. And that's okay. This is about the opportunity for you to really be a great listener and be in the moment and present with your clients so that you can hear them and you can keep digging and asking questions. You do not have to have it all figured out before you get on the session. And in fact, if you think you know exactly where you're going to take them, then that's not really serving them at all because you're going to miss out on the opportunities to meet them where they're at. You might show up thinking you're going to totally coach them, but right before they got on the call, they might have had some tough news. They might have had a rough day. They might have something else. And that is the golden opportunity that you don't want to miss out on. So if you have any questions, again, on today's episode, go back and download the freebie, by the way, amanda-walker.com/questions. So you can print that out and have it by you while you're coaching. And that's just a reference. It gives you some context of 10 simple and easy to implement questions that I think you should have in your back pocket as a practitioner. But if you have any follow-up questions from today's episode, feel free to reach out to me. Instagram is the best place at @awalkmyway. And if you're new to the podcast, we definitely appreciate you taking time to leave us a review because that is how more amazing coaches and practitioners find us. And if you are a veteran and you haven't left a review, or maybe you just want to leave a new review because an episode inspired you, head on over to the reviews in your podcast platform of choice. And we are so grateful that you're joining us weekly and look forward to joining you next week. And until then, go out and coach them up. Every week, I put my heart and soul into this podcast to bring you value and to help you grow as a person and as a coach. And one of the ways, very simple ways you can return that favor is by leaving us a review. So if you haven't left us a review, head on over to Apple or Spotify, leave us a review, let us know how we're doing, let us know what content you love and which content pieces are really speaking to you now.